If you've used AI for content, and I'm sure you have because everybody has, more than half of the content on the internet is AI generated. Human only content now is really the minimum. It's kind of sad because human generated content on its own is amazing. It's just not been so much. And now there's so much AI generated content that all the good content is drowning in it, which is why we really have to up our game when it comes to creating content with AI. Otherwise, there's just going to be no value on the internet. Anyway, I'm sure you've used AI for content creation and thought, this is technically fine, but it doesn't sound like me. Of course it doesn't, because you've not used AI properly. Or maybe you've thought, why does everything I generate feel so robotic, feel so generic, and feels like I've read it somewhere before? It's probably because you have. You're not alone. Most of the women I work with are already using AI, but they're spending way too much time editing and correcting the output than they are creating the content. So that's really a bit counterproductive as to why you're using AI. It should shorten the amount of time it takes you to make the content. And if you're spending so much time editing the content that you're creating with AI, you might as well write it yourself, which might be a favor for everybody because then we'll have more human-only generated content, but then we can't get scale with that, so it's not going to happen. Anyway, the reason that AI doesn't work is that most people fix the wrong part first. When AI sounds off, the instinct is usually to tweak the prompt or add more instructions or go back and start over again or ask it to sound warmer or more human. And while that can help, it rarely fixes the problem properly because AI isn't struggling with writing or creating good content. It's struggling with context, who you are, what you do, what are your thoughts, what is your knowledge, how can it incorporate that into the text it's creating, because that's what's unique and that's what's authentic, that's what it doesn't have. And of course it can't recreate it because it doesn't know, it doesn't have this information. So AI doesn't automatically know how you explain things, what tones feel natural to you, what you repeat often, what you would never say, how you like things said, what is your style when it comes to talking about things. So it defaults to the safest possible version, which is the most generic version on the internet. Super polished, neutral, and generic. So it's not that AI is bad, but it hasn't been taught who you are, what is your voice, and how can it incorporate that into what it's creating for you. Now, I've built a tool that actually helps you solve this once and for all. It analyzes your existing content, the words you've already written, and identifies your exact tone of voice, your writing pattern, your brand voice, how you like things said, what you don't like said, what you want it to sound like, what you don't want it to sound like, your sentence structure, all of that. And based on that, it gives you a custom prompt template that basically has identified your voice, and you can take that prompt template and use it in any large language model that you're using, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Copilot, whatever you're using, and then you will see immediately the output will sound a lot more like you. And for many people, when they use a tool like this, when they have this prompt that has fully identified the way it speaks, this is the first time that AI actually feels like it's doing its job, like it's usable for content to post. And this is really important because this is the beginning of seeing how you can work better with AI to create content for your brand or business. Now, I've built this tool. It's a Claude artifact. I vibe coded it, super proud of that. So you can try this out for yourself. The link is in the description. And when you do, let me know how you get on. I would love to know. But here's what I want you to understand, and this is subtle but critical. What this tool gives you is a voice snapshot. It reflects how you've written before, your writing style, and some nuances about how you communicate. And it's incredibly helpful, but it's still pretty static. It's prompt dependent, and something you'll need to keep reusing or adjusting every time you want AI to do something for you. This is why some people say, it works, but I still have to keep reminding AI and I still have to keep giving it certain prompts. It's not a failure, you're just not using AI the right way. This is the limit of just using a single prompt to get what you want done. And while there's value in it, there are limitations. So once you see this and you try it for yourself, the real question becomes, how do I make this repeatable? How do I make this reliable? How do I stop re-explaining who I am every single time? How do I make AI sound like me consistently, not just occasionally, without all the repeating prompts and without having to spend most of my time tweaking the output? That's the part most tools, like the one I've shared, can't solve on their own. So what's the solution? There are a few things you can do to have better quality content that sounds more like you in your brand voice for whatever content you want to create, whether it's your personal brand or business. You can do a few things immediately. If you're using ChatGPT, work in projects and upload your brand voice in there. This would allow that anything you create within that project will sound like you. Also, switch your memory on so that ChatGPT starts remembering how you speak and what you do, and it will keep using that tone of voice in the content that it creates. However, these also have limitations because there's a context window. It only remembers so much at a certain point of time, and you don't know when it forgets, and then it can be very frustrating because you're starting all over again and it's not doing what you want it to do. And this is the limitation of the bandwidth the tools have to work with us. So while they are a temporary fix, they may not work too long term. One thing you can do that will help you a bit more longer term is create a custom GPT. It can be a gem in Gemini or a project in Claude. They all do the same thing. A tool like a custom GPT or a gem in Gemini or a project in Claude can be fully trained on your voice. They can do a more deep analysis on how you speak, what you do, how you do, and remember that for every single thing that they are doing for you. So you can create a custom GPT that literally becomes your voice analyzer and turns all the content you create into your voice. Or you can create a custom GPT, for example, to write all your LinkedIn captions or your Instagram captions and make sure one of the files you upload in the knowledge bank, which is like the brain of the custom GPT, make sure it is your tone of voice and how you speak and all of that, so that it can always remember it and you do not have to tell it to sound like you, because it will always go into the knowledge bank and take what it needs to give you the output you've asked for. Now, if you want to learn how to do this, I do have a training that can help you create a custom GPT that becomes your content assistant in just 90 minutes. You create it once and use it again and again, and it will pretty much create content that you want for your business in your voice. It will be fully trained on your business, on who you are, what you do, who you serve, your target audience, and your voice, and the way you like to say things, and the words you don't like, and what you don't want it to do. And then the outputs will be consistently closer to what you want them to be like without you having to go back and forth and tweaking it. So if you want access to this workshop, it's 90 minutes. The link is in the description as well. Give it a shot. And if you do, drop in the comments and let me know that you did, and let me know how you got on. So just to recap a few things you can do after watching this video. First, go to my brand voice analyzer tool. The link is in the description, and get it to analyze your tone of voice and use that prompt the next time you are the next time you're writing something in a tool like ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, or Grok. The second thing you can do is, if you're working in a tool like ChatGPT, work in projects and switch the memory on. And the third thing you can do, no matter what tool you're working in, whether it's ChatGPT, Gemini, or Claude, in ChatGPT, build a custom GPT. I have a resource that will help you do it. The link is in the description. It will help you build your own AI content assistant that's fully trained on your brand and business, and also on your tone of voice. And this way it will always know who you are, what you do, and how you want to speak, so that you never have to repeat things to it. Again, consider it like somebody you've employed to be your content assistant, and it already has been briefed completely on your brand and business. You can create similar things in Gemini, they're called gems, and similar things in Claude, they're called projects. So those are the 4 things you can do if you want your content to sound a bit more like you. And yeah, I hope you find that super helpful. Now, if you want support in learning how to do this quickly and with me live in person, I am doing an AI content sprint, and details for that are also in the description. You can join me live for the next one and create 30 days of content with me live, and you'll walk away from the session with 30 days of content that you can use and post, and therefore you'll show up a lot more, and you will start using the tool better, and you will be seen a lot more. So loads of things going on over here. I wanted to keep this video short but give you a whole bunch of tools. I hope you found this useful, and I hope you use one of the tools that are in the description. And if you do drop in the comments. I would love to know. And if you have any questions, you know where to find me. Drop it in the comments, or you can find me on Instagram at abhamalpani, and I will happily come back to you. All right, have a great day.